Hey guys, it's Jess here from She Knows Arsenal at It's Jessinho on Twitter. And this is my instant reaction for Arsenal nil, Brentford 2. I guess I'll just kind of compartmentalize this just a little bit. Um, I will say that I do feel like all parties are at fault. It's not just Arteta, the players didn't show up. Adu, has kind of messed us up in the window as well. The Cronkies, all of it. I guess what I want to start off with was the level that we were unprepared for this game is unacceptable for a team that's under immense pressure to get into Europe, because we could be looking at the end of this season and be 3 points off the top 7 or top 8. You know what I mean? So every point counts, and the fact that we would go into a season as arrogantly as we have, with the type of squad that we went out with, just shows how we're not we don't have the right pieces in place. Like, we just don't. We're just too unprepared. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, should Arsenal Football Club be fielding a team full of kids on the first day of the season? Now, with the circumstances being what they were, with Aubameyang and Lacazette unavailable because they're sick, that's not an excuse for me. That's not an excuse for me. We should be more prepared going into the season because we are under more pressure than anybody else. If we were not in a position to get James Madison, Locatelli, Martinez, if we didn't have the facilities to get that done, then why waste the entire window, risk being unprepared for the first game of the season? Why not just take the 60 million or whatever you have, spread that economically, and buy three $20 million to $40 million players that could really improve us? Sorry, 20 to 30. You know what I mean? We spent 50 million on Ben White, who I really, really like. But I thought that that was the right signing under the contingency that we have more money to spend on the areas that we really need to address. Right side of center back is an issue, but the midfield needs absolute surgery, and we should not be relying on Sambi Lakanga to spur us forward. We also have another midfielder in there who has one foot out the door, who thought just a week ago that they were going to be at Roma. Don't think for a second that he wasn't still thinking about that move today. You don't just find a place to stay, pack up your stuff, and make a U-turn, and you're just like, oh, I'm back at Arsenal, I'm fine. Then I mean, it's just, we just came in so unprepared, and it's so arrogant. And I haven't even gotten onto the fact that we didn't even have a suitable backup goalkeeper if something were to happen to Bern Leno. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, my frustration is really just the unpreparedness is just, it's baffling, and it just feels so arrogant going into a season under this much pressure. So, the team that we fielded was not the type that you should have to put out there under these circumstances. And I do feel like the team that we put out there is still good enough to beat Brentford. That being said, what happened to our tactics? Throughout the entire preseason, we played a high line and a high press. I saw no press and a mid block. What happened? With young players, they need foundations and they need consistency. And for me, there are some people that will say that the players just didn't listen to what Arteta was saying. But I think there's a devil advocate here that says that he just dumped his tactics that he used for preseason and decided to do something different because he wasn't convinced with what he saw, and decided that he was uncomfortable doing that on the first game of the season, dumped his tactics, tried something new, and it backfired on him. That was the most conservative and scared approach I've ever seen from an Arsenal team on the first game of the season. I don't care if you have kids out there. I would rather have them went for it and scored a goal and lost than do what we did today. We couldn't connect a pass. We were beaten in midfield. Ivan Toney had his way with the back line. We didn't get not a single second ball. I think we had 2 shots on goal, and our buildup was atrocious. I saw a lot of crosses, no-look crosses that weren't going to anybody, misplaced passes in the final third. I mean, and then at halftime, we're looking at Bukayo Saka to come in and save us. What happened to our tactics? Why did we not continue our foundation? We Even though we don't like the way we play under Arteta, we still at least knew we passed out of the back. We tried to build up. We played down the left-hand side. We tried to create overloads in wide spots and do cutbacks into the box to tap in the ball. What happened to all of that? And why dump it just because you're playing against Brentford on the first game of the season? So that's my issue. Adu being so arrogant in the window that he thought that he could bully Leicester into giving us James Maddison for less than what he's worth, then turn around and then say we're going to get Odegaard. But now we don't have a creative source on the first day of the season. We don't have a backup goalkeeper on the first day of the season. We don't have a proper midfield on the first day of the season. When if we had 50 million plus this 25 million for Willock, I mean, that's 3 players right there. That's 3 players right there. Why are we wasting our time? Then Arteta, why are you dumping your tactics? Why? Against Brentford for what? Why? I have huge questions about why he did that. If you're that afraid on the first day of the season, I feel like he's rattled and he's scared. His job is on the line. We're unprepared because of Adu and the board, and he was rattled because Lacazette and Aubameyang weren't there. So he decided to cave. That's not what we need for our manager. We need you to stand up and live and die by your tactics. If they don't work, you go home. You're going to get fired anyway. So that's that. And then the players. As young as those players are, you got to show up for the game. You have to do it on your own. We didn't have not a single player besides Sambi Lokonga, who I thought said, I want the ball, give it to me, and let me try to do something with it. Emile Smith-Rowe tried, but kind of not really. He was a little bit in his shell. Saka tried to come on. He didn't really do much. It's up to the players as well to decide whether or not they want to play for the badge or not play for Arsenal at all. I mean, that performance was dire. There was no performance. And then you have individuals like Bern Leno, who's doing the same things that he's been doing since last season. He's definitely becoming an issue. Another player who has 1 foot out the door. Marie and Callum Chambers, who, if we're really honest with ourselves, are probably mid-table to lower Premier League level. So why are we expecting them to do more? It's just Xhaka, 1 foot out the door. It's just, we're just so unprepared, and we do this every season. Last season, we weren't prepared. We knew from the moment we played West Ham that we were going down. Now it's even sooner against new Premier League sides. So when I'm doing this, instant reaction, there's not a lot of tactical things that I can really talk about. There's not a lot of moments where I can say that we missed clear-cut chances. I come out of this game just feeling very frustrated, and we're talking about the same things. It's never going to change, is it? So yeah, all of it's bad. All of it's bad. And I just don't really know. I see people talking about Ben White. Why? Why are we even talking about Ben White? Is it his fault? Let's be real. Every time we buy a player for a large amount of money, on the first day that they play, we decide they're not any good because they have a bad game or they don't look the way that we expect them to look. Well, what I want you guys to do is look around and say, who are they playing with? How are we supposed to get the most out of Ben White when he has Callum Chambers to his right and Pablo Marie to his left and Bern Leno behind him? That's not even the quality that he had at Leeds. Let's keep it 100. Thomas Partey, he comes in. He doesn't look as good as you guys thought he was going to look. Well, look who he's playing with. El Neni on his right. Xhaka to his left. No creative 10 in the hole. Willian playing in the hole. You can't keep spending money on these players and not giving them the rest of the team to allow them to thrive. We take too long. We have too many holes to fill. We have too many gaps in the squad. So now that we've decided to get a left back, Tavares, who we should have had last season, now we have backup for Thomas Partey, which we should have had last season. We still don't have the right back. We still don't have the proper center midfield partner for Thomas Partey. We still don't have another number 10 because we're in Emile Smith-Rowe injury away from relegation. I'm so serious. And we don't have a legitimate striker that could... Who goes into the season without a striker in a decent age that can improve this team? Do you see how many holes we have? I wanna be calm and relaxed and stuff, but I just feel like it feels like we had 75 million or so to spend in this window, and instead of economically using it to fill multiple holes in the squad that could be beneficial to us and getting it done before the first game of the season so we're prepared, we left it late. Something happened with Lacazette and Aubameyang. We were rattled. Arteta threw his tactics away. We allowed the the occasion to overtake us. We didn't have a single leader on the field, and we're surprised that we lost 2-0. We're surprised, you know? So, do I think that anything is gonna change from now until the end of the window? I'm not sure because I have huge questions about Adu, and I think he's quite arrogant. And I do think he'll look at what's going on social media and say, "Well, why do they just expect things to be easy? Blah 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 blah." We'll probably get some late signing at the end of the window after we've lost 2 or 3 more games and be like, voila, we've solved all of our issues. But I just named you guys 5 issues right there: goalkeeper, backup goalkeeper, right back, central midfield, striker, number 10. That's 6 signings. We're not getting that. We're not getting that. So at the bare minimum, we probably get 2 and we struggle to stay mid table, So I think we're looking at, I'm confident in saying that we're looking at a new coach by December because if you throw away your tactics against Brentford, you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it. And I wanted to see if Arteta getting a preseason and getting some more of his players in the squad would help. But the reality is it doesn't look like it's been that. It doesn't look like it's been that. We're having the same issues that we had when he had a team that wasn't his, and now we're looking at a team that is his. And although not perfect, it's not really doing any better. I'll probably wake up tomorrow and feel a little bit different, but what I do feel is that we're so underprepared for this season that I have very little faith that we're gonna do what we feel like we should be doing, which is getting European football. And I don't know what an Arsenal team 2 years out of European football looks like. Out of everybody, we should have been more prepared than anybody. We should have our signings done. If we weren't sure that we could get Madison or Martinez or whoever before the beginning of the season, we should have targeted players that could get in and adapt. So when we played against Brentford, we're ready. And we didn't do that. So no tactical breakdown, no thoughts about the lineup, just bad from everybody from top to bottom. Good luck against Chelsea. It could be rocky. It really, really could. You guys can follow me on Twitter at It's Jessinho. She knows Arsenal. We do all types of Arsenal content, instant reactions, post-match shows, tactical breakdowns, all that. Follow us there as well. See you guys on the next one.